So we got a new orchard. Technically new. New to us. Old? I don't know. It's a new orchard because all the fruit trees that we had up on top of the hill in my second food forest, they just weren't getting enough sun. And so we talked to my uncle-in-law who lives right down the mountain on the same property. It's all family property. And he owns this field right here, which is why we've never really planted it or used it. I've had people ask about that. Why do you plant on a hill when you've got that field right there? Well, it's my uncle's. So we just talked to him and said, hey, you know, we've got all these fruit trees. He had a few fruit trees. They're kind of, you can see them kind of in the background here. They don't have any fencing around them. He's got a few peaches and a couple pears. They're real tall. He's had those for years and years and years. And we just said, hey, you know, do you mind if we move our fruit trees down here? We would be happy to share the spoils of, you know, fruit that comes from it because, you know, family, we would have done that anyway. But anyway, he said yes. And so now we transplanted with the help of my in-laws. My mother-in-law has really helped with this a whole bunch. And my father-in-law, he took the Kubota and actually used the Kubota to dig underneath all these trees that were up on the mountain and transport them down here and dig the holes for them. So that made life so much easier. So now we have this orchard here in the field, and it's really beautiful. And we've got the food forest back here, which is overgrown and foresty, you know, and then we've got this, which is kind of spread out and like you would imagine a typical orchard to be. The sets of trees that we have here, there's a good amount of pears and peaches and apples and stuff like that, but then these is also, I call it my designer tree orchard because things like plueries and picotums. A pluery is a plum cherry mix, and then a picotum is a peach apricot plum mix, and they're just a bunch of hybrids of trees. And so all of them have done pretty well. They're starting to get overgrown. They were mulched this spring. My mother-in-law did that because I was postpartum, and they're getting ready for fall. So things are really just kind of dying down here. They don't look as vibrant as they have, but they're doing really good. We only lost one tree in the transfer, and that's right there. But with the transfer, we did lose some limbs of some trees. It was too much bringing them down, stressful, that they lost some of their vigor. And so like this medlar tree, I've got some branches that are doing well and then some that are just not. And so I'm going to come out here and I'm going to do some summer, early fall pruning because it's going to be more difficult this winter to tell which of these branches are dead. So normally you would not prune during this time of year, but seeing as how these are just dead branches anyway, it's better to do it. I've got my handy dandy ratcheting clippers here, and you can see branches like this that don't have anything growing on them. The tip over here, these ones over here, I'm going to cut those off. This is a medlar tree. It's very hardy, very disease resistant. It's just fall, and so it's looking a little bit sad. So right before we transplanted them, we did a big pruning of them, but that was last fall, and so we haven't pruned them since then. And I'm just doing a real easy, yeah, that was not doing well, a real easy trimming of them right now to get them ready for winter, because they're not trying to save all this energy for branches that they don't actually have. And so this is just going to make them that more hardy over the winter. And then I'll come back and I'll clean all this up. And another thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be mulching around the base of them again. and putting edging around it, and then putting the fence inside of where the edging is and where the mulch is, and so it'll be real easy to keep these weeds back and the grass back, which is just going to make them a lot healthier and more vigorous next year. And then we'll have something that we can hit up against with the weed whacker and make a real clean line and just make it look really nice out here. So that's the plan. Okay, so we've got 17 fruit trees that we planted there last fall, and then he has 4 fruit trees that are there. So that's 21 fruit trees. I'm only counting 17 because one of them died, otherwise it would have been 18. So we've got a nice little orchard going on there. We're gonna straighten it up a little bit with the mulch and the edging, and you don't want to fertilize your fruit trees in the fall, so it's hard for me not to fertilize them right now because they look so sad, but it's what they're supposed to look like right now. Okay, so we've got that going on. That is our new orchard. It's exciting to have a food forest and a normal orchard and just kind of have like a compare and contrast situation going on. And then one day, if they get really big, maybe my grandkids, I don't know how long it's going to take, but maybe my grandkids will be able to climb trees in an orchard and hang out there and just pick apples or pecotums or something like that. So that's pretty exciting. My kids are screaming there's water balloons or something. They're doing something fun over there. Okay, so anyway, that is our second orchard, and what's going on with that, that's our newest update. And if I have any clips of us transferring the trees from last fall, which I think I tried to do a video and just, I got low motivation when I'm pregnant. Anyway, if I got any of those, I'll put those in here, and you can see them. But that's that. They're playing with water balloons. That is exactly what they're doing. We've got an orchard. Yay! Traditional orchard. So exciting. You guys have an absolutely wonderful day and stay blessed.